Hello. I have not made a multi-passionate video in quite a while. And part of that is simply because there's really not much to say. Like, I can't just keep saying, like, yeah, I'm a multi-passionate and so are you. Hello. And keep giving you the same tips over and over again. I mean, I could, but that kind of defeats the purpose of being multi-passionate. So if you haven't seen my multi-passionate videos before, I say that you should completely embrace being multi-passionate, Renaissance person, multi-potentialite, whatever you want to call it. Embrace it. And if you're not familiar with what a multi-passionate is, it is a person who has many different interests and talents and enjoys lots of creative endeavors, is constantly learning, and has many different professional pursuits, and does not feel tied to just focusing on one passion in life. Briefly though, my journey is that I am a creative and I do many different things. Right now it is painting, but I also sew, I crochet. My background is in fashion, so that's why I tend to do more fashion forward things. But like I said, I also do paint, I draw, and my actual career right now is digital illustration. So I definitely love the arts like most multi-passionate people. I do feel like my journey is going pretty well right now. I am at a place where I didn't think I would be. I definitely thought I would be more focused on sewing right now, but something switched up and right now painting is the name of the game, I guess. But today I do want to talk about this comment that I received. This person really seems to be struggling with being multi-passionate because it can be absolutely overwhelming. And this is the comment that I got on my video about being multi-passionate and embracing it. And go ahead and read while I'm like talking over here. Being multi-passionate, you do get burnt out very easily. And part of that is just because like you're thinking about all the things that you want to do and it can be very overwhelming. And you're just like, well, how am I going to make time for this? Especially if you have a 9-to-5 or a retail job, food industry job. It can be very hard to like come home and then focus on your many different passions. So this video hopefully will help you to figure out how you're going to do that. And honestly, it really is all about just balancing it all out. But thank you so much for leaving this comment because I didn't realize people were struggling like that. Like I know there are struggles, but sometimes I think everybody has it figured out, but sometimes people don't. But thank you for leaving this comment. So this one is really for you, but also for those out there who are also struggling a little bit with being multi-passionate and what they should lean into. So like I said, it can be very overwhelming trying to figure out what passion you're going to do on one day and then a different day. It can be hard because you really want to do everything, but you only have 24 hours in a day. And honestly, you sleep at least 6 of those. At least I sleep only 6 of those. But yeah, so there's things that you need to do to, survive. That's the thing. It can be a very slow process, which is one of the downsides of being multi-passionate is that it is slow. And when you're interested in many different things, it's like, dang. Okay, this is going to take longer than I thought. And I do feel like a lot of multi-passionates do feel like they already want to be masters and experts at something already. Don't worry. I think we all go through that. But the fun is all in the learning and getting good at it, in my opinion. Because once you master something, you do get a little bit bored of it. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, I'm not going to get too much into focusing on one thing because if you're here, you're probably already focused on doing multiple different things in life. But, society does like to tell you that you should focus on one thing and get really good at it and that's it. And that is a path for sure. I do think that if that works for you, do it. But if you are multi-passionate and you do want to try a little bit of everything, go for it. But just know that there are some consequences when you do that. So one of the things that is helping me out is that I've been kind of setting challenges for myself. In my last video, I mentioned that I just wanted to paint for the whole week. And that's what I did. I just got this itch to paint. And so I did it. And I didn't overthink it too hard. Because sometimes, like, when you decide that you're going to do one of your passions, you're like, but what should I do? For me, like, what should I draw? What should I paint? And you get so stuck on that. And that doesn't even matter. Just paint what you feel. I ended up painting some dice. And then I did an abstract, then another abstract. And then, yeah, it just kind of flowed from there. And I think it's good to, like, set like a time. Like, so for a week, I'm going to paint. And maybe next week you'll crochet or whatever passion it is that you want to look into. So definitely just like kind of set a loose goal of some sort and a time frame. I've definitely seen people who draw a lot, like do sketches. They will do like a 15-day or 30-day challenge in their sketchbook. So every day they'll draw in their sketchbook until they fill it up or whatever. And I think that is a good way to like get better at something, and you are obviously doing your passion. You know, there's lots of prompts on Instagram where you can figure out what to draw. So I wouldn't worry too much about what you should draw. Just do it. Because that's easy. That can be something that you can easily look up. So for me in the spring, I do believe I was sewing at the time, and I burnt out really quickly from sewing because I was trying to do things that were out of my comfort level and also that just weren't that easy. I definitely tried to sew some tailored shorts, and that was very hard. I was sort of successful, but I think I definitely needed to use a different fabric. By summer, I was back into my digital art mode, and that was fun. And I drew a lot of like that was like summer into fall, but I drew a lot of Black books and dark academia type stuff, and that was fun. That was very short-lived, it felt like, but it actually was a long time. And then right now, fall, winter, mostly fall, I've been painting. Like, I really just had this itch and I decided to scratch it, and I've been really loving it and I'm really leaning into it. And initially it was like, okay, I'm going to do this for a week, but I think now I'm going to do it, for the rest of December, but we'll see. Because again, sometimes you get a little bit bored and then you're like, oh, it's not going right, and you kind of give up. But for now, I do think it's a good idea that I just keep going. So I did respond to that comment, and I was just saying that it is a balance and it is hard, and a big part of what you need to do is just like cut out a lot of noise, because a lot of the times when you're like scrolling, you get stuck doing that. For whatever reason, if you're multi-passionate, you definitely spend a lot of time looking for inspiration, which is both a good and bad thing, because inspiration can kind of make you jealous as well. But it's good to look for inspiration, because sometimes you just want to know, like, okay, what should I make? Like when it comes to crocheting, sometimes you want to do a sweater or a cardigan, and you look at how quickly people can do stuff and you're like, oh, they did it so quickly though. I do think it is good to look for inspiration. Just don't get too bogged down into it, and stop comparing yourself to someone who has been crocheting for 12 years. Like, that's not fair to you, especially if you're a beginner. Don't even think about that. I have been crocheting for about 4 years now, and while I am pretty good, I guess expert level, not really, intermediate level, I'll say, I cannot compare myself to someone who has been doing it for much longer than me, because they're just going to be better and faster at it, So don't do that to yourself. And I know if you're into a lot of creative things, you do tend to compare yourself to others. But honestly, once you find yourself doing that, literally just tell yourself like, nope, we're not doing that. I'm going to start from what I know, and I'm going to do that. Do not let comparison get to you, because it will mess you up. And don't worry about being perfect at something, because I don't know if you can see the painting behind me, but it's my dice. It definitely is not perfect whatsoever. The proportions are all off, but I'm okay with that, because I personally don't think art is supposed to be perfect. I'm not a machine, and I can get better at that. I do plan on painting more dice, so it's not a big deal. You're not going to be perfect the first time, the second time, the 10th time, the 200th time. You're just not going to be perfect. So also put that out of your mind, because perfection is so overrated anyway. One of the things I love about painting is that I love to see the brushstrokes. I love to see, some of the sketching underneath, if you did sketch before. I just love to see how you can paint outside the lines. I don't need my artwork to be perfect. It's not worth the fuss, in my opinion. I will say I have struggled with being a perfectionist in some aspects of my life. Having something be imperfect is actually more fun, in my opinion, and it makes it more human, So definitely let go of perfection as well. So I just briefly wanted to share some of these tips with you guys, especially for those of you who are struggling out there to find balance in your passions. Just definitely don't like overthink it for one, but also it's okay to plan these things out. And I know doing one thing at a time defeats the purpose, but that is how things are going to get done. Like you can't paint and crochet at the exact same time. So don't even try or get upset at yourself because you can't do both. Just start with one and figure it out. Like if there's a painting you have in mind or whatever it is in your field that you have in mind, go on and do it and practice, and then come to the next discipline and focus on that, because you physically cannot do two things at once. And when you do, it's not fun anymore, and that does cause burnout. So definitely just let go of all the noise, let go of comparison and perfection, because it's just not worth it. And in order to be multi-passionate, you have to be willing to put in a lot more time into something and not feel so pressured to be perfect at something, because one day you will be an expert if you keep going. And right now I'm in this whole keep going, mindset. Keep going, because you never know what could happen. Someone could be like, wow, like that's actually really nice. Can I buy that off of you? You just never know. Not that that's the goal, because if it's your passion, I think the goal is just that you love doing it. But if someone came up to you and wanted to buy your pottery, would you say no? Probably not. So, you just never know what could happen. And I definitely urge those who are multi-passionate to embrace it and keep going. But don't beat yourself up if you can't get everything done or don't accomplish some of the things that you want to try doing, because you'll get there. It just may not happen today. And I think that's okay. So that's really all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helped someone. And again, thank you to the person who commented this, who sparked this video. Thank you so much, because I didn't really know what else to say about being multi-passionate, because again, it is kind of a difficult topic to talk about, which is why I have such a problem with niching down. But yeah, definitely think about this and very much lean into being multi-passionate, and don't overthink it. Just do. Just do. And keep going. Keep going. All right. I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.